Our last guest is Dee Lewis, who is here to share her story as she recently went through the death and dying experience with her mother at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Well, welcome to the show today, Dee. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you.
Well, on today's show, we've already discussed organ donation, as well as end-of-life decisions and the National Healthcare Decisions Day. Mm-hmm. And so today I thought it would be important for you to be our guest and to share your story about how you recently accompanied your mother through that death and dying experience at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center.
Okay.
So, are you ready to get started?
I am.
Well, good. Well, let's kind of start at the beginning.
Okay.
When did your mother come to Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center?
This was on Monday, January 20th. Mm-hmm. She had a sudden illness and was brought to the hospital via ambulance and through her family physician. And then she was directly admitted into the emergency room. Of course, we had to, as a family, we had to go to the emergency room first.
Right.
And very pleasant experience there. The people at the desk were very helpful. They assured us that they were getting our mother to a room, and they would let us know as soon as that happened. We probably waited about 20 minutes or so, and then had to go up to the desk, of course, and fill out paperwork. And things. Mm-hmm. And once all of that was completed, the little lady at the desk offered to take us through the hospital, wanted to make sure we knew where we were going.
Well, it can be kind of hard. It's a big place.
That's right.
If you've never been there before.
Right, and of course we had never come in from that direction anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she was very helpful. So she took us on up to the floor where my mother was, and they already had her in there, and she was resting comfortably. They were able to get her stabilized, her condition at that point. The hospitalist that was on staff that day was Dr. Adams, and he was just terrific. Came in, did a whole history with her and with us, and so that was all good. And then he explained to us that he wanted to do a referral to a GI specialist because he felt like that was very important to do that. So then, there was a period of waiting and, in order for the specialist to come in. And so we just stayed there with our mother. The nursing staff was phenomenal. I said to my brother at the time, I said, I've never been treated like this at a hospital before, that they just bent over backwards. They wanted to know what our names were. And, that was just really super. Plus the rooms are not like regular hospital rooms.
No, they're not.
They're very comfortable, and they explained to us where the refreshments were. If we needed.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, if we needed anything like that, and so that was on Monday, and then on Tuesday, then the specialist came in, which was Dr. Holt.
Mm-hmm. Frank Holt.
Yes, very nice man. He knew my mother's family physician very well, as did Dr. Adams.
Of course.
So we had a consultation with them.
Oh, well, that was nice.
It was very nice. So then Dr. Holt decided at that point that we would go ahead and schedule an upper GI to see what was going on. Obviously, she was having a GI bleed. And so that was all discussed. My mother understood, what was going on and, and all that. So then after they left, we had a visit from the chaplain.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, we have a very great group of chaplains there that volunteer their time.
Right. That's what he said, and it was really interesting because he had a similar experience several years back when the hospital was at the old location. So then he shared all of that with us, and we had a nice little prayer and all with my mother, and so that was nice. But I think she really,
I bet,
just made her feel much more comfortable and everything. So then Wednesday morning, she was scheduled for her procedure. I arrived at the hospital extremely early, so I could spend some time with her before they took her down. We just thought this was going to be a routine test. nurses came up and got her. The ladies that work with Dr. Holt, they were just so nice.
The employees at the hospital who provide
Right.
support for him, yes.
Right, and from the operating room, and so they came in and they were just so sweet to my mother, and she's 88 years old, and so they understood about her instability, about standing up.
Sure.
I mean, they were just right there, and of course they let me just come right with them. Went down the back elevators, and then we got into the operating area, and then we went into a little room, and then the doctor and the anesthesiologist came in, and his name escapes me, the anesthesiologist. He was so nice. I mean, just explaining every little thing that was going to happen.
That's wonderful.
It was really great. So again, we just thought this was going to be a routine procedure. Off they go with her, and then in the meantime, one of the volunteers came by, asked me if I needed anything, if I needed coffee,
they're great.
They are. And she said, I'll keep an eye on things. I'll let you know what's going on.
Right.
And she came by a couple more times after that. Even, and so then,
did you get a blanket? Usually they're passing out
she
blankets.
She asked me because it was that was that really cold snap that we had, and all the ice and everything. Asked me if I needed a blanket, and I told her no, I was fine. And so she told me how to operate the TV, and all that. So we sat there, and I watched the TV. And so then the anesthesiologist came out and explained to me that things weren't going as well as what they thought, that the bleeding had increased, and they were just very concerned. Well, at that point, of course, I was there by myself. He said, if you have any other family members, you might want to write. Yeah. So, and I knew it was very strange because the week before, my brother had this whole conversation with my mother about her end-of-life wishes, and she wasn't sick.
No.
So, and she told him exactly what she wanted done. She did have a living will in place, which was very important. But I think it's just so important to have that verbal conversation, because then there's no confusion about who wants what. So anyway, then I called my brother. He came right away. And we explained to the doctor and to the anesthesiologist that my mother wanted a natural death.
Right.
We did not want any extra things to prolong. We just wanted her to be kept comfortable, no pain. So they totally agreed. In fact, I think they were relieved.
They were relieved that you knew that, and you were able to communicate that to them.
So they said, well, that was exactly what they had in mind, and of course they wanted to do what we wanted.
Of course.
If there was anything else, then that was fine. So, and we were just all kind of, in shock at that point.
Of course.
Trying to get...
difficult
right.
time.
It was very difficult. So we stayed there and waited until they brought her out. And usually they take them to the recovery room from a procedure like that, and then the family can't go back there.
Correct.
Well, one of the nurses came out, and she was so worried, and she knew
she
what
knew
was
what
happening.
was going on.
She said, I want you to come back here and be with your mother, for as long as you can. And we were just kind of flabbergasted, by the reaction from the whole staff. The volunteer came back by, just to make sure that we were kind of headed in the right direction. So off we went. We asked to speak to Dr. Adams again. So they were going to arrange all of that. So they took us back to be with our mother, and she was aware of us being there. They had given her some medication for pain. And we were waiting for an ICU room.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they were going to go ahead and take her up there, so we would be more comfortable with her, and if anybody else needed to come to be with her. So we were probably in the recovery area for 30 to 45 minutes. They got a room ready, took us on up there. Had us in a waiting room just for a little bit until they got her
settled.
Situated. Right.
Sure.
So we were able to call her minister from the church that she'd been a member of for
That's
years.
Great. Yeah.
Right, so he was able to get there. Then they took us on back into the room with her. She still was very aware of us being there.
Really?
And and then Dr. Adams came in then, and we talked with him again. And he was totally...
And he's the hospitalist
Yes,
there.
that's correct. And he was totally on board with, with what was going on, that we
Right.
just wanted to keep her comfortable and just let...
That's just a wonderful story. And then she expired in ICU.
She did. The minister came. We were able to, to talk with her. She knew that he was there, and probably within about 30 minutes after he arrived, then she just, and it was the most peaceful thing, that I've ever seen. She just went.
She just went.
Yeah.
But with all the love and support of her family,
Right.
as well as the staff at the hospital,
Right.
They all played a part in that.
They did.
And I'm
really
so
did.
happy to have you here, to have folks
Thank you.
hear about your story. You're so brave to come and talk about that, and you have our deepest sympathy
Thank you.
on the loss of your mother.
Thank you.
And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing that story, because I think it's important for folks out there, especially during this month. It's organ procurement
Right.
month. I just think it's a real important story. So, Dee, thank you so much as a friend and as
Thank you. You're very welcome.
as a professional who works with you on several occasions. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you being here. You do a great job.
Thank you. You're very welcome. I appreciate the opportunity, to share my story with other people.
Well, it was a pleasure having you here today. And again, our deepest sympathies
Thank you.
for
Thank
your
you.
loss.
Thank you.
Thank you.